Takedowns are different. Pressure's similar. Takedown, upper body stuff. He kept trying to clinch up with me. Khabib would shoot lower shots. I think Khabib was stronger, physically stronger. Islam's squeeze was incredible. That torque he got in that Darce choke, and it was like a vice, it was like a vice grip. Like, I knew he was tough. I knew he was going to be strong. I knew he had greens. You have to have everything.
Islam was my father's favorite student. He was like very favorite student. I know, I'm his son, and when I watch all students, Islam was his favorite student. And he always tell me, you're 3 years older than me. When you become champion, when you become a little bit full, your fire, your hunger a little bit go down, Islam gonna come up. I was like, what are you talking about? But right now, look, I was champion. I defend my title 3 times. I finished. Islam right now is like 10 win streak in UFC, one of the biggest win streak in UFC history. And I really believe he's gonna become champion. Why I talk about Islam? Because this is my father's legacy. And I really want he become champion. You guys gonna see me like a lot next couple years. I'm not gonna let you guys miss me,
Usually when a champion reaches the top and secures that belt, something inevitable happens. They get predictable. Opponents study their patterns, they find their weaknesses, and they build entire training camps just to exploit those flaws. But Makhachev, he's done the exact opposite. With literally every single title defense, he reveals a terrifying new version of his game. Let's dissect exactly how he pulls this off.
So, that brings us right to our central question, right? Why do UFC fighters fear him more than anyone? The data and the analysis point to a really fascinating reality here. It is not just that he wins, it's how he wins, and the profound psychological effect his mere presence has on the entire roster. Let's figure out exactly what makes this particular fighter so uniquely feared inside the octagon.
Okay, let's dive straight into this. Section 1. Evolution of a champion. Shattering the narrative. Early on in his UFC career, critics and analysts totally pigeonholed Makhachev into a very specific one-dimensional box. The old narrative was basically that he was just a dominant wrestler, a grappling specialist who relied almost entirely on physical control to win his fights. People thought they knew exactly who he was. Actually, scratch that. They assumed they knew exactly what he was going to do. The whole assumption was, hey, if you stop the takedown, you stop Islam. But fight after fight against really high-level opponents, something completely unexpected happened. His striking got sharper, his footwork became eerily calm, and his timing, devastatingly precise. It's almost like a cruel trick for his opponents. They prepared exclusively for one single target, the takedown. But the reality of what they actually faced in the cage was entirely different. It could be a punch, it could be a kick, or it could be that dreaded takedown. Instead of just forcing his wrestling right from the opening seconds of a round, he made a massive adjustment. He weaponized the mere threat of his grappling to open up this multifaceted, totally unpredictable striking game.
And this creates a brutal psychological chain reaction. First, it starts with worry. The opponent becomes hyper-focused on defending their hips, and because of that, their own offense really suffers. They hesitate. Their punches get slower. Their kicks completely lose their sting, mostly because they're constantly second-guessing themselves.
Ultimately, this leads to straight-up paralysis. Every single decision in the cage becomes exponentially harder when you're just bogged down by anticipation. This tactical shift is absolutely profound. The source material notes something really interesting here. Without throwing a single strike, Islam was already winning the mental battle. Crazy, right? We are looking at a fighter who is defeating elite, world-class opponents in their own minds before a single punch even connects. That mental paralysis he induces is what truly separates him from being just your standard grappling specialist. So, here's the crucial point. If his wrestling is merely the threat that opens up his striking, what is his actual greatest weapon? It's a really surprising answer, and the analysis suggests that his most devastating tool isn't his wrestling, it isn't his kicks, and it definitely isn't his submissions.
Which brings us to Section 2, the power of patience. Waiting for the mistake.
Inside the octagon, chaos usually rewards aggression, but Makhachev defines patience completely differently. For him, patience is allowing pressure to create natural openings instead of forcing them. Let that sink in for a second. This is a stark contrast to the typical frenzy of mixed martial arts. He is playing a completely different game, relying entirely on methodical restraint. He rarely rushes. He isn't out there wildly chasing highlight reel knockouts. Instead, he studies. Every twitch, every step, every little feint from his opponent becomes a clue. Elite fighters describe him not as the fastest man in the cage, but as someone who is processing the next exchange while everyone else is still desperately reacting to the current one. When that natural opening finally appears, the finish is just ruthless.
Which naturally leads us to wonder, if he is this complete,
If he is winning the mental battle and thinking 2 steps ahead of the absolute best in the world, why do world-class fighters still accept the challenge? Why do they actively, publicly ask to fight him? Let's look at Section 3 to find out. Respect over fear, chasing greatness. There is a fascinating paradox going on here. Fighters openly admit how incredibly dangerous he is, yet they don't back down. Why? Because true competitors do not run from greatness, they chase it to create history. They definitely aren't expecting an easy night at the office. They take the fight because defeating the absolute best is literally the only way to cement your own legacy. In the UFC, true respect isn't handed out because of trash talk. It's earned by surviving against the toughest competition on the planet. The analysis puts it perfectly. Sharing the octagon with Islam has become one of the sport's biggest tests. Facing Makhachev is no longer just your standard championship bout. Win or lose, stepping into the cage with him is widely recognized by his peers as the ultimate measure of a fighter's worth in the modern era. So, if he really is the ultimate test, it opens up a much larger historic conversation. Is he already one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time? Is his legacy fully secured, or is it honestly just beginning?
And that transitions us perfectly into Section 4. The GOAT debate begins, redefining the blueprint.
Because here is the thing, influence is much, much harder to measure than championship belts or records. Belts change hands, win streaks get broken, but true greatness, that's defined by how a fighter forces an entire division and honestly the sport itself to evolve. Every single generation has that one fighter who just changes the standard forever.
So how do we actually measure that influence? Well, young athletes are actively copying his techniques. Top-tier coaches are completely redesigning their training camps from the ground up. Future contenders are spending literally years preparing for a style created by this one extraordinary competitor. His blend of elite wrestling, highly disciplined striking, and relentless patience is incredibly difficult to imitate and even harder to defeat.
And this brilliantly illustrates how the landscape of the sport has completely shifted. Think back to the old era of the lightweight division. You had specialists, right? Strikers versus grapplers. It created a certain level of predictability. But the current era? It's defined by hybrid blueprints and ultra-high-level tactical decision-making. Makhachev is the architect of this new era. He has fundamentally changed the blueprint of modern mixed martial arts. But there is a harsh reality that every dominant athlete must eventually face. The ultimate enemy of every single champion is time. Every career reaches a point where just racking up victories isn't enough, and fans stop asking, can he win, and start asking, how will history remember him? Years from now, the raw statistics and the numbers will only tell a small part of the story. True legacy is built on the intangibles. It's built on the immense, suffocating pressure his opponents felt, that split second of hesitation before every single exchange, and the unfiltered, genuine respect from elite peers. Legacy is built by completely changing how people think about greatness. And yet, the puzzle remains unsolved. The analysis notes that every time he steps into the octagon, the expectations just grow higher, and the challenges become even tougher. But he just continues to find new ways to prove why he is the most complete fighter of this generation. As long as he keeps winning, the conversation around his historic greatness is only going to amplify. So we leave you with this to chew on. Has Islam Makhachev already earned his undisputed place among the absolute greatest fighters in MMA history? Or do you believe his biggest challenges and the true defining moments of his legacy are still ahead of him? It is a fascinating question, and for sure the fight world will be watching closely to answer it. Thanks for tuning in to this explainer.
Everything.
And that takedown leading into the final sequence, I mean, that was pretty high-level stuff, right?
Yeah, and I saw people saying it before. I just didn't think it was about to happen right there.
Did you feel like he was getting tired?
We were both fatigued just from fighting hard, but I don't think he was anywhere close to. He could have done another 5 minutes, no doubt. Both of us, our punches are going to be a little slower, our legs are a little tired, but neither one of us was tired. We could have kept going.
Man, honestly, similar to Khabib, his movement is really strange. The timing of it is really strange to get his cadence. I wanted to open up more and throw more volume, but when he would commit to the pocket, he would exit weird. His dips with his head, I heard my corner telling me throw the knee the whole time, but I just felt like I might get taken down off of it. And his movement is just it's kind of awkward. It's a weird timing, so I couldn't get good combinations going. But everything else was what I expected.
The diamond did himself.
I told you, Islam gonna take him to the deep ocean and make him tough. People have to understand, Islam is very good. I told you, Islam Doesn't matter who. I love this guy. We grew up together. He was my father's favorite student. A couple hours ago, you guys was talking about Charles gonna finish this guy. It was Charles Oliveira time. All world was talking about him. Now Islam make him easy. Now you guys gonna forget about Charles Oliveira. Doesn't matter who. We just wanna fight with the best because Islam is the best.
There's been moments where we're in practice and I'm going with Khabib or Islam and I'm the big guy. So generally, a smaller guy gets on top of you. When you decide it's over, you just throw him off of you. Yep. No technique, no skills. You just literally grab him and you kind of throw him off of you. I'm grappling with Islam once and I try to throw him off of me, but he's still there. And so I give him a little harder shove and he's still there. Next thing you know, I'm grappling at 100% because the dude's that strong. But again, I had never really grappled with him in that way, like at a decent pace. So I didn't recognize the strength when he was trying to keep me down.